Okay, so good evening and welcome all. So today we are discussing the interesting topic, psychiatry meets law. Okay. And thank you for giving me this opportunity. I would like to thank Dr. Nutin Abhiwan sir for giving me this opportunity. And we have Dr. Prasanna Khatavkar sir as our chairperson. So I'm giving a brief introduction of Dr. Prasanna sir. Dr. Prasanna sir currently working as a consultant psychiatrist and he's working since 2001. And he is the owner of Aadhar Psychiatry Hospital Solapur, which is a 25-bedded mental health establishment. And he is a consultant psychiatrist at Sri Markandeya Solapur Sahakari Rugnalay Solapur, as well as SP Institute of Neurosciences Solapur. He has a registered patent of K-band on his name. And he has worked on 2 phase 3 and 1 phase 2 clinical trials. And he is a regular column writer in newspaper Saka. So I welcome Dr. Prasanna Khatavkar, sir. So we will have question answer. Okay, so 5 questions to each speaker. Okay, after question and answer, chairperson will discuss the topic, and then he will declare that the topic is open for discussion. So now I'm going back to Dr. Prasanna, sir. Prasanna, sir.
Yeah. Very good evening to everyone, and thanks, Dr. Avinash, for that kind introduction. Law is probably involved in all aspects of our practice, our clinical practice, the way we treat our patients, the way we admit them, with the discharge procedures, what is to be done and what not to be done. Some things which need to be probably informing the government authorities and everything. So the baseline is law is involving almost all aspects of our psychiatric practice. And I think it is very important for all of us to understand the routine of the legal procedures and to implement it in our routine practices. Documentation of all our cases, all our records, and everything has become really important. And so, probably in the process of getting acquainted to the legal dimensions, I think we have to understand law per se. And that's why we have 2 wonderful speakers today, Dr. Mahamuni and Dr. Kalmik. Both have done their law graduation. We as professionals, we can take the education of law. That is, we can take the degree of LLB, but we cannot practice it in the court. We are not advocates. So we, for the sake of the knowledge, can acquire or can do get a degree in this field and probably enrich our understanding about what we do and what law actually means to all of us in our routine practice. So to introduce Dr. Mahamuni, Dr. Mahamuni sir has done his MBBS, DPM, FIPS, and LLB. He is the psychiatrist working in mental health field since 2 decades. Currently, he is the president of Indian Psychiatric Society, the Pune branch. He is an alumnus of prestigious GS Medical College and KEM Hospital, Mumbai. Completed LLB from Savitribai Phule Pune University last year, that is in 2023. Currently, he works as a senior psychiatrist in RMH Yeravada, Pune, where he is closely working with MHRB Pune. Previously worked as the prison psychiatrist at Yeravada Central Prison, Pune for 7 years. Worked as a principal investigator in many phase 3 clinical trials and has worked in past as consultant psychiatrist at community mental health program in rural India in FRCH. So it is a great honor to welcome you, Dr. Sandeep Mahamuni, sir. Please join us. To talk about Dr. Bhalchandra Kalmi, he has done his MBBS, DPM, MD, and is a consultant psychiatrist working at MAN Clinic in Pune. He is the honorary secretary of IPS Maharashtra branch, state branch. Has worked in Masina Hospital, Mumbai, in Department of Psychiatry from 2005 to 2007. Has worked in KEM Hospital, Mumbai, in Department of Psychiatry from 2007 to 2008. Has 2 international paper publications on MDD in Hindavi and Asian Journal of Psychiatry. He's the chief editor of the book MSCA 2017, Together We Can. It's a wonderful book. He is a member of the Indian Psychiatric Society, Pune Psychiatric Association, All India Association of Private Psychiatrists, American Association of Psychiatry, and many more organizations. Is an active participant in the local zonal level for conducting and organizing conferences. So, welcome, Dr. Balchandra, and it's a great pleasure to have you for the discussions today. I hand over now to Dr. Avinash to conduct the further proceedings, and we are hopeful to have some wonderful insights in from today's discussion.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind introduction of our eminent speakers. Now we will begin with the questions. Okay. So first question is to Dr. Sandeep Mahamudi, sir. Sandeep, sir, how do you integrate your knowledge of law and psychiatry in your practice? Sandeep, sir.
Mahamuni, sir, are you there?
Yes, he is facing some technical difficulties. So we will continue. We will
Sandeep
continue.
can put off his video and say then.
Yeah.
Yeah, Balchandra sir. We will continue
Yeah.
with your question and then we will ask him that question.
Yes, no problem.
Okay. So
Yes.
the question is to Dr. Balchandra sir. Sir, can you share an example of a case where your law study was helpful in the managing a complex psychiatric issue?
Okay. Thank you, Avinash. At the outset, I thank you, IPS West Zone Branch, President Nina Madam, Secretary Dr. Dhananjay Asturkar, and Legal Subcommittee for arranging this wonderful session. After passing my law, now it's almost 1.5 months, and people started me that I'm a great lawyer. They are calling me that kuch hua to sambhal lena. But before that, I want to give a disclaimer that if you do medicine, that is medical, and if you do law, that is legal, you don't become a medical legal expert. So at present, I am not a medical legal expert. I am only practicing my clinical psychiatry, but having some insights about the legal system of the India. So what is actually law? As we know that the medicine is knowing about the internal system, how body works and how all things bodily system works. And law is how things were outside our body. That is how society works and the interrelationship between person to person, society to society. Avinash has given me questions. So I would like to combine two questions at the same time. First question is about the case and second question is about how it changed my approach to the patient care. So after doing law, but actually while doing law, I have become more communicative with the patient. I am keeping clear communication with the patient and with more transparency. This has achieved more trust in the patient and mutual respect about the doctor and patient has increased significantly. So how my approach has changed. Now I am looking with the different perspective. With every case, I am giving additional advice. Like in case of geriatric population, by default now I have started giving advice about the will making. Many patients come about dementia and they don't do their wills. So by default I have started giving advice about the will making. Then about nominations of the their bank accounts and all that. About suicide also. Now according to the MSCA, this suicide has been tried to be discriminated. Discriminated means decriminalized. So it is not shameful to report the suicide anymore. So I am asking the relative or the clients who have done suicide to report it frankly. Again, there is the issue of guardianship. So we know that the patients of the chronic mental illness need guardianship for their long-term care. So this advice I have started giving. About involuntary admission, most of the people we have already doing the involuntary admission. Recently, after doing law or while doing law, I have started taking informed decisions with the patient. With each and every step of the treatment, I am involving either patient or their relative to make the decisions. How law has helped me? So in law, there are various subjects like family law. So this law is useful in family therapy in a bigger way. There are some marital discord, there are some sexual problems after marriage. So if you have basic knowledge of the law, now what happens if there is any marital discord or sexual problem? General advice is given to the either party that you go to the court of law already. But before that, most of the time, if the this client go to the counselor or psychiatrist, most of the problems can be solved. About NDPS Act also, so something about NDPS Act, this is also included in the law. So while handling the patient of addiction, this law is helpful and we can very well educate the addicted patients about the NDPS Act and the various penal provisions about the drugs. So these are the some insights about improvement in my approach to the patients after doing my law.
Thank you, Dr. Sir. Thank you, sir. I can see Dr. Sandeep has joined back. So
Yes.
we'll continue with his question. Dr. Sandeep, can you hear me?
Yes.
So the next question is for you. How do you integrate your knowledge of law and psychiatry in your practice?
Okay. So basically, practice of psychiatry and knowledge of law should go hand in hand. In everyday clinical practice, it is important to have knowledge about the law and the Mental Health Care Act, which is in place now. So this is how psychiatry is different from other branches of medicine. So when it comes to law and psychiatry, there are many interfaces. And when we are practicing psychiatry, providing information about psychiatric illness, providing information about the treatment options available, the psychotropic medications and its adverse events. So it becomes mandatory on our part to provide all this information to the patient and caregiver. So we cannot run away from that. The second thing is that informed consent is very important. When we are going to treat a patient, taking informed consent of the patient and caregivers is also very important. Now, in psychiatry, the major challenge is the capacity. The population which we are treating, the patients, kind of patients we are treating, they most of the times they don't have capacity to decide. So either they have lost capacity temporarily, or there are few patients who have permanently lost their capacity to decide about, take the decisions about the treatment option. So here the importance of law comes, knowledge about law comes handy. And when we are aware about various sections and admission procedures, if we are admitting a patient involuntarily, it is very important to have all knowledge about the law and all procedures. Yes.
Yeah, Sandeep, I want to add some 2 points about MSCA. Now, after MSCA, mental health has become legal right. Okay, though the physical health has not become legal right in India, but mental health. So when something becomes legal right, we can fight in the court of law for that right. Okay, and second point, my observation about MSCA is that psychiatrist has got power like initially was there was power to admit the patient without consent, but now there is much clarification about the power. So psychiatrist has got power to admit the patient without his consent. That means he has got the power as equal to the police. Only thing is that as we know that every involuntarily admission or in legal term it is sectioning or confinement, everything has to be reported to judge, district judge. So that's why all this MHRB and all this concept has come. So these
Yes.
are the, otherwise every time we keep on complaining that why psychiatrist the power has been restricted, or MHRB, why the head of the MHRB is always judiciary person. But according to the Indian Constitution, if any person wants to be confined for any reason, whether it is legal reason or mental illness, he has to be reported, that confinement has to be reported to the judiciary, and that person, that head of that committee should be a judge. So these are my some observation about MSCA.
Yes. In terms of
Chandra sir.
forensic psychiatry, if we have knowledge about law, we can, we are in a better position to write mental health reports of criminals or mental health reports of the death row prisoners, because psychiatrist report decides the punishment which will be awarded to that particular inmate prisoner.
Yes.
So in forensic psychiatry, yes, there is a lot of scope, and if we are well prepared with knowledge of law, we will be able to give justice to the criminal.
Thank you so much. Since we were discussing about MHCA and mental health laws, my next question is related to the same topic, and that question is to Dr. Sandeep, sir. So, how do you stay up to date with the changes in mental health laws and the regulations such as MHCA 2017?
We stay updated by reading about the updates, all updates which are there, and by attending various workshops, seminars, and CMEs, we keep our knowledge updated about the recent developments, whether there is any amendment in the law. Like for example, IPS has the writ petition of IPS, Indian Psychiatric Society, is pending in the court of law, which IPS has objected to many of the points in the law. So by attending workshops, seminars, and conferences, it helps us to keep up to date about the new law.
Yeah, and there is other thing. This program is organized by the legal subcommittee. So legal subcommittee members and the chairpersons of the legal subcommittee are in constant touch with state mental health authority. So whatever the developments are happening, they let us know that is this development has happened. So two main things need to be sorted out very quickly. That one is about MHRB, that is a mental health review board, because many times either government psychiatrist or government don't have much issue because they have the MHRB is in place in their campus only. But about private psychiatry, many times about admissions of the kids, minors, and ECDs for the minors, we have to report to the MHRB. So that two things need to be started. First thing is about contacting, how to contact about the MHRB. And second thing, we have requested state mental health authority. This legal subcommittee has requested state mental health authority that one of our member, that is IPS member, should either be an honorary member of the state mental health authority, or he should be a visiting member of the state mental health authority, at least in the meeting, so that whatever the development and our concerns and inputs, they can be given at the meeting only, so that appropriate decision can be taken accordingly. Yeah, Avinash.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Bhalchandra. So my next question is to you only. Okay. So how do you collaborate with the legal professionals to ensure comprehensive care for patients with the mental health issues?
Okay. So we know that as a doctor, we need not to be aware about all the legal problems. Likewise, the legal professionals are not also aware about the all legal problems of the mental health. Okay, so there is need to make them aware about the issues of the mental health, basically. So what we can do, we can do awareness among police, that is the home department. Okay, we can take various seminars and make them aware about the issues about the patient of mental illness who are wondering. Okay, so at present what is happening, if we go to the police station and report them as per Mental Health Care Act that such and such patient is wandering, you need to take him to the hospital. Okay, it's your responsibility. Then police, what police will say, that we are already too much preoccupied with the other issues, other regular problems, and they will just ignore. But when we come with certain definitive legal provision, that this is the provision, this is MSCA, you have to do it, then we can pressurize them to take such a patient to the mental health establishment. Second thing is that I think MHRB, most of the members of the, most of the means the head of the MHRB is from legal background, and it is not necessary that he will know the problems of the patients with mental illness. So in day to day, I think monthly meeting is happening with the MHRB. So it is the responsibility of psychiatrist or the mental health professional over there to educate them about the mental health and make them aware how the system works. Okay, because what happens, judges have different lookout about mental health. They go by books. Okay, so judges know only one concept, that is whether the patient is lunatic or he is not, whether the patient is not lunatic, sane or insane. Okay, sane raha to that need to be that need not to be admitted, insane raha to that need to be admitted. That much they only need. But there are very much gray area in between. Okay, so they should know about the gray areas, what are the emergency situation, and what prevention can be taken, so that patient of a mild to moderate illness will not land up in severe illness, or the patient who is okay at present and who has potential to do suicide, that suicide can also be prevented by the early admission. So it is not necessary that every admission, because they think that whether patient is harmful to himself or harmful to the society, admit him. Okay, but in between there are before that there are many steps that need to be considered and that need to be addressed. So early prevention, we can educate them in a better way. So police and judiciary, we can make them aware about our concerns and our problems.
To add to that, for every district, there is a district legal aid cell which is in place, and in civil hospitals and regional mental hospitals, these district legal aid cells have formed a legal aid clinics for civil hospitals and regional mental hospitals. So they visit once in a week and they are there with us. So there we educate them, we teach them a psychiatry, and try to reduce the stigma, because many a times they do have uh, stigmatizing thoughts about mental illness. Still, they are not psychoeducated. So these legal aid clinics and these lawyers, they visit us also in mental health review board. We invite them, and they just observe how things are proceeding in these MHRB boards. So that's how they are sensitized, and they are educated, and that's how it helps. So these legal aid clinics, they provide services to the patients and families free of cost, and they have got this chamber in OPD itself. So whoever has issues or difficulties regarding law, admission procedure and discharge procedures, so they approach these legal aid clinics, and they take advice from these advocates.
Yes, and sometimes what happens, this judicial authority are more concerned about the social issues. Okay, what is the impact of this mental health on society? Okay, ignoring. So there is one Penrose rule. We state that beds in psychiatric hospitals are inversely proportional to the prison population. So if we increase the beds in the mental hospital, automatically the prison population will go down. So likewise, there are many that you are working in Yerwada jail. So you must be knowing that many large chunk of patients are suffering from severe mental illness or de-addiction. There are many personality disorders. So if we take this approach, that this is not only the mental health issue, it is a social issue, and it is the issue of whole society. So
Yes.
likewise, we can make this more impactful.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for your addition, Balchandra sir and Sandeep sir. My next question is to Dr. Sandeep. Can you discuss the intersection of mental health and law? And since you have additional qualification of law, how you dual expertise helps in your perspective?
Okay. Since I was working in Yerwada Central Prison for 7 years, the moment you enter within those four confined walls, and when you see many criminals who have committed heinous crimes like murder and rape, so initially it becomes very difficult to think whether the first question which comes to my mind is whether to treat these criminals. But then having a knowledge of law helped me to it becomes obligatory on part of mental health professionals to provide treatment to all individuals or citizens of India. So criminals also have got their human right to get appropriate and adequate medical treatment. So that is one thing. Second thing is that having graduation in law helps one to give expert witness in the court of law. We are in a better position if we have knowledge of law. If we are graduate in law, we are in a better position to give expert witness in the court of law. And being a psychiatrist and having knowledge of law helps us to explain judges the all minute details about mental illness, various symptoms, delusions and hallucinations. And there are many questions which arise. For example, if some criminal has killed someone, so the first question which arises is whether that person was of unsound mind at the time of committing crime. So these are very difficult questions to answer. But if we are equipped with knowledge of law, we are in a better position. We can explain them about the symptomatology or about the diseases like schizophrenia or temporal lobe epilepsy, wherein that person can commit a crime, which can be the symptom of that mental illness. Yes.
Avinash.
Thank you, Sandeep sir. My next question is to Dr. Balchandra sir. How do you think psychiatry and law can work together to improve public policy and advocacy for mental health?
Now, MSc is the good example of that. In India, thing doesn't happen unless and until there is a cry. Okay, and if that cry has legal backup, things can be done in a better way to resolve the things. Okay, so first thing, you talk about ask about the public policy and advocacy, no? So public policy, that first we have to make the such law that are useful to the people with mental illness. So MSc is the good example. Along with that, patient with mental illness gets disability benefits also. So many patients of severe mental illness like schizophrenia, chronic mental illness, they get disability certificate, disability of as much as 70 to 80%. So that is much above the required of 40%, and they get various benefits also. So these are the some, and making a policy is a continuous process. So for that we have to be in touch with judiciary also and with legislation also. Okay.
Yes.
We are the stakeholders. We psychiatrists as a professional are one of the stakeholders. So we have to coordinate with all other stakeholders like judiciary, then administrative people, then legislative people, and most importantly, person with mental illness, and then caregivers. Okay. So if you do coordination and collaboration with all these, better mental health policies can be drafted out.
Very good. Thank you. My next question is to Dr. Sandeep. Have you contributed to any legal or legislative efforts related to mental health reforms in our country?
I have contributed in a different way, not legislative efforts, but there is still a big gap between the reality about mental illnesses, its treatments, and the awareness about these mental illnesses. So this huge gap which is there, and which leads to a lot of problems. For example, now since I work in regional mental hospital, relatives still feel that it is government's responsibility to take care of the patient. They feel that once patient suffers from mental illness, he has to be kept in mental hospital forever. So this is something which needs a lot of attention, and a lot of education is required in the society. People still are of thought that it is government's responsibility. But this new Mental Health Care Act is a right-based act, and it advocates the community-based treatment. So that's why the Mental Health Care Act has given this admission duration of 1 month, 2 months, or maximum 6 months. And if patient is to be kept beyond 6 months, we need to get permission of Mental Health Review Board. So in every mental health review board, there are at least 2 or 3 families who come, and they come with their advocate, and many a times they don't even turn up. They on phone only they tell that can you give a guarantee that patient is 100% recovered? Can you give guarantee that once we take patient back, he will not relapse again? So these are the misconceptions and misunderstandings about mental illnesses which are there in our society on large scale. And that is where I think we all mental health professionals need to work upon. So in these mental health review boards, whenever these families come and try to convince that their patient be kept in mental hospital only forever. So that's where we try to explain these families. Sometimes we have to threaten these families that we will have to approach police if you don't take their patient back home. So, I mean, it will be real mental health reform if all our society, every individual of in our society is educated about mental illness. If he is well informed about mental illness, treatment facilities, and all rules about and laws, I think that will be a big reform. Because in mental hospitals, patients are languishing for more than 10 years. There are patients who are there, they are staying there since 30 years, 40 years, and many of them, they don't have family members. Many times they are brought by police. They are unknown patients. They were like wandering aimlessly on roadside and they were brought by police. So we don't know whereabouts of these patients' relatives. But still, our team have made a lot of effort to trace back their relatives, not only in from Maharashtra, but from other states as well, and even from other countries as well. And we have successfully reunited these patients with their families from other states and other countries as well. So I will say this is one step towards mental health reform. And if this happens on large scale in every hospital, in every civil hospital, it will be a big success. Second thing I want to tell you here is that when we once patient gets better and when we discharge that patient, we don't say discharge. We don't have discharge card. We say it as a continuum of care. And we hand over these patients to the DMHP team, District Mental Health Program, which is existing. The team is in place in every district. And we regularly conduct meetings of these teams. Recently, we had conducted meeting of Ahmednagar, Satara, and Pune district, this district mental health team. And then we sensitized them about this provision which is there in Mental Health Care Act. This act, this rule book has given this continuum of care provision. So it is the responsibility of district mental health team to take care of these patients once they are sent home. So we don't say discharge, we say continuum of care.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just a start, and things are moving gradually. And I'm sure over a period of time, things will be much better in India.
Surely, sir.
And, I think there is a need to include a community treatment contract of the patients in the Mental Health Care Act itself. What happens when the patient with mental illness go in the society, then he should take the responsibility of his own to continue the treatment. Okay. Then
Yes.
again, if he relapses, okay, he become violent, then again the same process we need not to do again and again. So if we include the clause of community treatment contract in the act itself, then the things will become more easy for the patients of chronic mental illness, and especially who are prone to become violent.
Yeah, so this district mental health team includes a psychiatrist, psychiatric social worker, psychologist, and psychiatric nurse. So it's a team armed with all mental health professionals. So these psychiatric social workers are supposed to visit that patient's home and see to that that patient takes these medicines regularly. The duty of that psychiatric nurse is to visit the homes of these patients and check the compliance. So these things are in place already, but it is just a momentum which it has got now, and things will be better over a period of time. Yes.
This
Sure,
idea of
sure.
community treatment contract, we have proposed this idea to Law Commission in our last meeting at Bombay, this Mumbai Law College. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
My next question is to Dr. Bhalchandra. How
Yeah.
do you educate patients and their families about the legal rights and responsibilities regarding the mental health treatment?
Okay. So first thing first, that they should know that now mental health has become legal right. Okay, we talk about their rights, that now they are able to take treatment free of cost. There is provision of voluntary as well as involuntary admission. Then there is provision about the wandering patients also. Now, luckily, insurance has also been added. So many times we have to now insurance doesn't get without premium. Okay, so we have to educate them that Baba, you are getting coverage for mental illness, then your premium will also increase to take means the policy which include mental illnesses also. Okay, because we don't know when it will be helpful. Then about disability certificates. Many times patient don't know the benefits of disability certificates. So relatives of patient with severe mental illness, we have to tell them that you get the benefits. So to educate the people, we are I have one self-help group. There we regularly take the meeting, and of the patients also and relatives also. Plus we are means I am and Sandeep is planning to take lectures of law students. Okay, in Pune, law students and bar council members to know about the Mental Health Care Act and other issues. I will also request legal subcommittee to start educating. It means making to make the program for area of Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Goa also. So that only thing we can do is educating people and making them aware about the benefits available and what they need to do.
That's
these are
nice
the
to
things.
hear, Bhalchandra sir, that you are doing actively doing something to create awareness in law
Yeah.
students. Thank you for that. My next question is to Dr. Sandeep sir. Have you encountered any ethical dilemma where your legal and medical training conflicted?
Yes, like I said before, in prison, the first ethical dilemma was to whether to treat these criminals. Someone who has raped a minor girl and he's suffering from depression, whether to treat that uh, criminal. I mean, that was the first ethical dilemma I had in prison, and like I said, it is their human right to get proper treatment. Apart from that, there are many ethical dilemmas that we face in our day-to-day practice as well. For example, disclosing the confidential information that patient and family has given. So that is one dilemma which many of us must have faced. So whenever there is court of law orders that this particular individual's information about his mental illness be given, so we are in a dilemma. But then, since it is court order, we do have to comply with that order. So another dilemma many a times, just informing or disclosing the diagnosis of mental illness may lead to stigma in other family members or distant relatives. So that is again a dilemma that every one of us face in our routine practice.
चांगला वेबिनार होता, मी मिस केला.
So apart from that, when we are attending we are at court as an expert witness,
हिशोब सांग किती द्यायचे म्हणून करू केला फोन काय खालीच आहे प्रश्न.
ओमकार म्यूट कर.
सॉरी सर.
Yeah, Sandeep sir, you all.
Yeah, Sandeep sir, continue.
Continue.
This is my kids mute.
Okay. So I think one should not be judgmental. Many times what happens if such cases comes now, criminals with mental illness comes. So we should not think emotionally. Okay, we should go by book. That what is our role? Our role is to treat. Okay, we should not think about other things that such type of punishment should get to this person. It is the job of judiciary to give the punishment. What is our job? To look after his mental health, and both means criminals and victim also. So dealing with that no judgmental attitude, that will help.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Sandeep and Dr. Bhalchandra, for your insightful answers on all these questions. I would like to ask Dr. Bhalchandra about his experience about law studies and how it will help budding or a psychiatrist to study the law.
Okay, so many times many people ask me why you did law. Okay, so as you cannot practice the law. Okay, so what happened during COVID time, in first wave and second wave also, we had lot of time. Okay, so I watched many videos, started watching series on constitution, and that's how I got interested in law. Okay, so भरपूर वेळ होता, वाचायला मिळालो, and instead of becoming a graduate of WhatsApp University, it is always better to be a graduate of Pune University. So that was my clear understanding. So how to take admission in law course? There are various means government university. So if you want to take admissions in government university like Mumbai University or Pune University, you have to give MSCAT exam. Okay, so that exam has various questions on mathematics, general intelligence, then legal aptitude, all that, English. Okay, so it's easy for us. For doctor, it's easy. We can score easily. And about college selection, take the college near to your house where you can manage your attendance. Okay, that are the two practical things. Then there are many subjects in law, like about constitution. Then there are family laws, law of contract, criminal procedures, civil procedures, about property law, international laws, about jurisprudence. And there are also practical like professional ethics, alternative dispute resolution, CPC, and workforce. Actually, law is the full-time course. But if you are doing medical practice, look for the college where attendance can be managed. Take as much as knowledge possible. After all, we cannot get the sanad. That is, we call it MMC में जैसा registration होता है. We have to register in bar council. So we cannot apply for the sanad unless and until we surrender the medical degree. But overall, our attitude about the system will change once you do the law. Okay,
Yes.
so overall attitude will change, and the attitude will be more comprehensive. That's why I understand after doing the law. To you, Bhavin.
Thank you, Bhalchandra sir. Okay. So now question and answers are over. Since our chairperson, Dr. Prasanna Khatawkar sir, is also holding additional qualification of law, I will get back to him so that he will summarize all this discussion.
Yeah, Dr. Avinash, before I summarize, I wanted to add up few things, and probably Bhalchandra can also add up to those things.
Sure.
Bhalchandra, as the way we document our case history, or if we get a summons from the court, your response to these legal situations has it really changed after it? Because after I did my LLB, I feel my approach whenever there are police who comes to us, the chief investigating officer, he requests us some documents, or we get a notice from the court, or when we get a summons. Actually, earlier I used to have a different approach, but now I have a very different approach, and this approach is a very easy approach. Second thing, our whenever we get a summons out of the town, we can insist upon getting a video conferencing appointment, and that is always granted to the doctors. I came to know about it only once I started studying this, and probably during the case discussions which were held during our training. So, Bhalchandra, what do you feel? The documentation, our response to the legal proceedings, like the summons, or maybe bailable warrants, non-bailable warrants, what the video conferencing or consults we take, has all these things really changed after this?
Yes, sir. I wanted to include all these things in the discussion itself. So, documentation is must. Okay, keep proper documentation. And
because now we are discussing, I wanted to add up few things and also get inputs from your side. Like earlier.
So first thing first, that if any police calls you, don't get frightened. Okay.
Yes.
शांत राहायचं. आपण सगळं काम आपलं व्यवस्थित केलेलं असतात, डॉक्युमेंटेशन सगळं आपण केलेलं असतं. पोलीस त्यांचं काम करतात. पोलिसांचं काय काम असते? इन्क्वायरी करणं. आपलं काय काम असतं की आपण जे काय केलं त्यांना सांगणं. तेवढंच आपलं काम असते. त्याच्या व्यतिरिक्त पोलिसांना काहीच जास्त अधिकार नसतात. आणि काय झालं की जनरली कुठल्या असं डॉक्टरांना नॉन बेलेबल वॉरंट काही एकदम निघत नसतो, की बाबा वॉरंट निघाला आणि डॉक्टरला पकडून दिलं, असं काही होत नाही. जनरली काय आहे की वी नो दॅट बिफोर अरेस्टिंग और डुईंग एनी इन्क्वायरी टू डॉक्टर, दॅट सेकंड ओपिनियन नीड टू बी टेकन.
बालचंद्र, फक्त बेलेबल वॉरंट किंवा आपण काहीतरी केलं म्हणून आपल्यासाठी नाहीये. जेव्हा तुम्ही एक्सपर्ट विटनेस म्हणून एखाद्या क्रिमिनल केसमध्ये जाणार असता, त्यावेळेला सुद्धा तुम्हाला पहिल्यांदा समन्स यावं लागतं. समन्सला जर तुम्ही ओबे नाही केलं तर तुम्हाला बेलेबल वॉरंट येतं. बेलेबल वॉरंटला जर तुम्ही रिस्पॉन्ड नाही केलं तर नॉन बेलेबल वॉरंट येतं. आणि मला वाटतं की ह्या स्टेप्स आपल्याला समजाव्या लागतात, नाहीतर मग आपण म्हणजे प्रत्येक वेळेला आपण तारीख होणं हे उत्तर असत नाही. आणि मी म्हटलं तसं की फक्त आपण काहीतरी चूक केलं म्हणून नाहीये, तर आपल्याला एक्सपर्ट विटनेस म्हणून बोलवतात एखाद्या क्रिमिनल केसमध्ये, तिथं सुद्धा आपल्याला अशाच प्रकारचा अप्रोच ठेवावा लागतो.
बरोबर सर. आपल्याला काय होतंय की आपण जेव्हा कुठल्याही कोर्टात जातो ना, पोलीस येतो ना, आपण थोडंफार घाबरून जातो. म्हणजे कुठल्याही आपल्याला ते सवय नसते. तर त्यांचं काय आपण जो समन्स घेऊन येतो ना, तर त्याचा काय ऍटिट्यूड असतो, त्याला त्याचं काम करायचं असते की बाबा पटकन यावं, समन्स जावं आणि केस म्हणजे या पुढच्याच तारखेला. ते इतक्या घाईत असतात, म्हणजे काही काही तर केसेस इतक्या ट्रिव्हियल असतात, त्याला आपण गेलं नाही तरी चालते किंवा डॉक्युमेंट ऍफिडेव्हिट केलं तरी चालते. अशा केसेस असतात. तिथे गेल्यावर आपल्याला असं कळतं की जजचा आपला पूर्ण दिवस वाया गेला आणि आपल्याला जजनी काहीच नाही विचारलं, असं पण केसेस होतात. तर अशा वेळेस त्यांना आपण रिक्वेस्ट करू शकतो की बाबा हा जर वॉरंट व्हीसीनी जर हे होत असेल तर तुम्ही व्हीसी करून घ्या. ऍफिडेव्हिटने होत असेल तर ऍफिडेव्हिट पण आपण करू शकतो वकिला थ्रू. म्हणजे आपल्याला तिथं प्रत्यक्ष जायची गरज पण पडत नाही. आणि दुसरं कसं आहे की कोर्टात आपण गेल्यावर आपण एक्सपर्ट विटनेस म्हणून जात असतो. तर एक्सपर्ट विटनेस जातो ना, तर आपण तिथे जाऊन कोर्टाला ते इन्फॉर्म करू शकतो की बाबा मी एक्सपर्ट विटनेस गेलेला आहे, मी सगळे माझे पेशंट सोडून आलेला आहे, मला पहिल्यांदा घ्या. तर बाकीच्या
हे-
केसेसचं
हे सगळं आपण नाही, हे
जजेसचं
सगळं
आपण
To add
बोला.
to that,
overlap.
whenever
हा,
we,
हा.
whenever we receive summons, it is obligatory on our part to respond to that. That is the first thing. So whenever we get summons, it is our duty, our responsibility to attend that call. If for genuine reason, if you are unable to attend on that particular date, if you are sick or if you have some other important work, we can always take another date, by consulting the officers and clerical staff over there. That is one thing. Second thing is that whenever we are going as an expert witness, we are the masters in that field. So what answers or what responses we are giving, we should be assertive and confident in what we are telling. That is very important. Second thing about documentation I want to tell is that whatever we are documenting, we should be able to defend that if at all that case goes in the court of law. So what we have written, we should be able to defend. That is very important. If we have written something, if we have documented something, and if lawyer asks and if we fumble, then there is confusion, and then there is criticism from part of these judges. There are, I have seen many doctors who, from civil hospital or medical colleges not attending these court calls. And once I was there in the court for some other case, and one postgraduate doctor in Sassoon who had seen that particular patient, and he was called multiple times, and then he was called on this VC court. That was unfolding in front of me, and this judge jabbed him, that doctor, very badly. So it is obligatory on our part to attend that court call. That is the first thing. And if we attend, 80% of the responsibility is over, I will say. Second thing is that I remember one case, convicted prisoner who was in life imprisonment. He had killed his father because of delusions, and he was from Salem district in Kerala, Tamil Nadu. And so his family members would not be able to visit regularly because of the distance. And since he was delusional, when he got call from his sister, telephonic call, he told that sister that people are harassing him whenever he is asleep. Other people, they torture him, his private parts, and all delusional phenomena. And this sister of that inmate, she just mailed Human Rights Commission complaint in the form of mail, and Human Rights Commission took cognizance of that. And then the Human Rights Commission sent us summons and asked explanation what is happening with this inmate. So we sent this inmate to Sassoon Hospital and carried out all examination, and he was sent to all departments to rule out if there is any physical injury or any other problem which he had mentioned in that complaint. And all reports were nil. And then this judge from Human Rights Commission, I attended that call on video VC court, and these judges are very lenient, and I explained that judge that this person inmate is suffering from schizophrenia, is non-compliant, he is irregularly taking treatment, and because of that his symptoms flare up once in a while, and then he gets paranoid. And after explaining all that, judge was very much accepting, and he explained that inmate that what treatment you are receiving in this prison is appropriate, you comply with that. So yes, there are there is not, like Balchandra said, there is no need to get scared if we get summons or if we police approaches.
Yeah.
this reporting.
I
Another
remember
example I
one
would
case.
tell, this one fellow, one colleague, he had not seen the patient, but that lady, she was suffering from paranoid schizophrenia, and her husband had approached that psychiatrist, our friend, and he just had suggested hospitalization for observation to rule out if that person is suffering from any mental illness. So in that, then police approached him because he lodged a complaint with police, and then police approached him, and then I guided him, and he told police or gave it in writing that I had advised hospitalization only for observation purpose to rule out if patient is suffering from mental illness, because he had not seen the patient. So yeah, there is no need to get scared of court calls and police inquiry.
Yeah. Dr.
I
Balchandra, you were saying.
I remember one case. I was doing my morning work at STM, and police called me that you have kidnapped one person. We have got a complaint that you have kidnapped one person, and that complaint was from Mumbai. I mean, that the police has to respond. Actually, he was a patient suffering from schizophrenia, and he launched a complaint against me that I have kidnapped him. And he complained to Chief Minister, Home Minister, Collector, Superintendent, all people. And now making a complaint is very easy. They just have to put the mail CC to all, and then they have to take the follow-up, and local police has to take follow-up. So they were not aware that this patient is suffering from the mental illness, schizophrenia. But luckily we have documented the case very well. There were all the means admission ke वक्त पूरा consent वगैरह that was done. Okay. Then again, after I have written my statement that such thing happened, we admitted the patient for mental illness, then this has happened. Then again the same patient has complained same case that I have kidnapped him again after 6 months. That was his readmission. Okay. So in the same police station. So the police just said that the complaint you just came. I have already taken the printout of your written statement, written whatever the statement you have to do, you come just sign and go. So police, when you educate them that these are the things about mental illness, schizophrenia patient. So they also know that these are the patients. They cooperate with us. Police department also cooperate with us.
One more thing, Balchandra, I wanted to ask you. When we were discussing about the MHCA and those areas, how do you establish the nominated representative? Because this is one issue which is a gray area where probably who is the nominated, it has been defined well in the law and all these things are there. But somebody who says, I am the nominated representative, is that enough? Or something else has also to be done for that?
The nominated representative, that patient will decide who is the nominated representative.
Yeah, but when do we have to get a paper for that, or we have to see a document for that, or how do we establish who is going to take the decisions for the patient?
No, until now, the process, I think the procedure has not started yet about the documenting nominated representative.
I think we are
Unless
still
and
Regarding,
unless and until
I want
the
to
process
add,
will start, then they will come up with some procedure. No? There
regarding
will be some
unknown
form.
patients who don't have any family member, relative, in those patients, Dr. Avinash will agree. We had encountered a couple of patients. So the nominated representative in such a scenario is decided by the mental health review board, and they have got powers to delegate this responsibility of nominated representative to social welfare department. So their officer or they represent any representative from social welfare department, it is mandatory on their part to take responsibility as a nominated representative. And MHRB, head of the MHRB, the district judge has got, they have got this power to delegate this responsibility. to the social welfare department. So we have done this in
Yeah,
few
yeah.
applications from
I
Sassoon.
completely agree with Dr. Sandeep. Since we are working in government setup, we regularly face this problem of unknown patients or unaccompanied patients.
Yes.
So in that cases,
Keeping in those same lines, one more question to Dr. Mahamuni. What about the advanced directives? Is it to be started, or when will it start, and how it is to be done, or is it still in the pipeline?
It is still in the pipeline. I'm clueless about that. I have to agree.
So
Okay,
this
just
area advanced directive are nominated. So, I had discussion with the person who was very much active in making the law. So he outrightly said that all these provisions, advanced directive and nominated representative, these provisions are ornamental provisions in our law. For Indian
Yeah.
scenario, they are not much useful. But if anybody want to do, they have option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, just to complete this thing, just summarize whatever we have discussed since last 1 hour. Dr. Balchandra and Dr. Mahamuni have very nicely put across the various importance of various aspects of our legal system and and which can be applied to our subject, that is psychiatry. That is how it has really helped them, and probably how understanding of law helps us to communicate better, probably to deal with our routine practice in a better way, probably the importance of educating the judiciary and the legal system about psychiatric illnesses, human rights, our job as an expert witness, and during care of our patients, how understanding of our law and communication is really helpful. I think it was a wonderful interaction today, and I'm sure it must be helpful to many people who have attended this program today. I really thank the organizers and everybody for providing this opportunity to be the chairperson and to participate in this program. Thank you, and here to Dr. Avinash.
yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It was very wonderful session discussing with all you eminent psychiatrists, your experiences. Okay, so now topic is open for public participants. They can, if they have any questions, they can ask.
They can unmute themselves and ask the question. I think Ritvik has some question. He has raised the hand.
Yeah, Ritik, Dr. Ritik had asked one question.
Ritvik, are you there? Okay, I think he has left.
Yeah, he left, yeah. Okay, so since there is no more questions from audience as well, I declare this discussion is ended. Okay, so thank you so much, Dr. Sandeep, Dr. Bhalchandra Kalmek, and our chairperson, Dr. Prasanna Kitavkar, sir. And thank you so much.